Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and today I want to take you along for a quick ride from Frankfurt to Düsseldorf through Storm Benjamin. This is going to be absolutely right within the storm and on VATSIM, so I'm expecting quite an exciting flight coming up. So let's go ahead and not waste any time and just get straight into this, shall we? We're going to start, as always, with a very quick look at our flight plan, and I can already tell you that this is going to be an interesting one. So here's what today's flight plan looks like. We are going to depart Frankfurt up north and then straight into Düsseldorf's runway 23. The weather, as you can see, looks good as well. We do have that number 2 over here, and well, number 2 is going to be turbulence, and number 1 is also going to be turbulence. So basically the entire sector is going to be turbulent, no way around this. But now let's have a look at the really interesting weather, and that's going to be our airports. So we're starting with Frankfurt, which is both the departure airport as well as the destination alternate. Currently they're offering 220 degrees at 23 knots, gust 33 knots. And looking into our destination Düsseldorf, currently 26030, gust 40. And looking at the actual forecast, they offer up to 50 knots in heavy showers of rain. So absolutely beautiful weather. Now, our primary alternate in Maastricht, and yes, we're actually going abroad for the alternate because the rest is just so bad that we don't want to plan it. Over there, they're currently offering, well, becoming 250 at 17, gust 28, so some lovely weather, but not as bad as the others are, because looking down here at Hahn, we see gusts up to 45 knots. Looking at Stuttgart, we've got gusts up to 35 knots. So, lovely weather conditions all around. Now, the rest of our flight plan, on-time departure means on-time arrival, no problem with that. Level 220, so right within the weather, not much we can do about it. The interesting question is just how much fuel do we want to take. So, minimum is 3.5 takeoff fuel, plus 200 taxi makes 3.7 block fuel. We're definitely going to take more than that. And I would say that we're actually taking quite a bit more than that. So our alternate is okay, but in weather like this, where the general large-scale weather situation is as bad as it is, I don't quite want to trust this. So while it is technically okay, I tell you what, we're going to take a complete hour extra. So 3.6 is the minimum. Let's turn that into 5.6, and that should give us sufficient fuel for today's flight. Alright, so the next large shower is already incoming, so I tell you what, let's just walk straight over into the cockpit here and start getting ourselves ready. So, starting with the preliminary cockpit preparation, we've got the engine master levers off, mode select the norm, the weather radar is off for now. The landing gear is down, the wipers are off, and the battery voltage is good, so let's go ahead and turn on the batteries, as well as the external power unit, bring our airplane to life over here. And while the airplane is powering up, let's go ahead and start down here on our electronic flight bag. So we're going to import our flight down here. Yes, I don't care about the EOBT difference because I want to fly this in daylight. So it says 1514 schedule. Let's tell you what, we are just going to turn that into 1540 down here. Update, that's good, 26 minutes to run. Mass and balance, we wanted to take 5,600 kilos of fuel, giving us a nice bit of extra here. It's going to bring us rather high on the landing weight scale, but that's going to be absolutely fine. Alright, so now that we got this, let's quickly check our departures as well. And over here everything's tuned. We are also happy with those two charts down here. Okay, lovely. Then let's start our preliminary performance calculation. This is absolutely going to be a wet runway. At this point, it's a bit of a pity that Fenix doesn't support any of the, let's say, more fancy runway conditions, because I would absolutely calculate contaminated with weather conditions like these. Now, let's go ahead and see what we're going to get here. 66 degrees flex takeoff. Now, we can use this. We could consider forcing toga because of possible wind shear conditions, but I tell you what, I am going to go for the flex takeoff for the time being, but when we get close to the runway and the weather changes to give us, let's say, stronger gusts or anything that reads remotely TS in it, thunderstorms, then we're absolutely going to recalculate this into a toga takeoff. For now though, we know that we're not limited, we got sufficient stop margins, so that's easy going. Alright then, so our aircraft starts coming to life down here. For the RMP, we're just gonna do it like this for the time being. Delivery 122035 is going to come active over here as well, like that. And while we're waiting for that, let's already go into the ATSU, AOC menu, flight init, and do the ACAS initialization. And then 121.855 at ground frequency can already be pre-selected. 1COM2 21.5 is active. Why did it change my frequency? 121.855, please. Alright, and the speaker is nice and up on both sides. Wonderful, so let's move upstairs and do the APU fire test, which is looking fantastic. Then APU, do we need that? Well, not really at the moment. RS mode selectors 1, 2 and 3 going into nav. Now let's do the technical acceptance here. Recall 3 seconds is looking good, is normal. And we've got no OEBs. The aircraft does not have automatic nav on go around. Apart from that, it's a standard CFM powered A320 aircraft. So oxygen pressure is good, hydraulic quantities are good, engine oil quantities are good, the flaps are up, that agrees with the levers, spoilers are retracted. Let's release those brakes here into the ultimate brake test, and that's looking fantastic. Park and brake is set again, and that's the preliminary cockpit preparation complete. So while we're waiting for everything to happen, we're catering the airplane right now, boarding is going to come right thereafter. Let's go ahead and get started with our procedures up here. You're familiar with the cockpit preparation procedure of an A320, so I'm not going to explain too much down here. In terms of our weather, there isn't anything like special we need to do during the cockpit preparation. If it was cold, that would be a different thing. Then we'd have to turn on the probe window heat switch. However, that should not be necessary today. Refueling still in progress. Seatbelts should actually be off. I kind of thought that would have been finished already. Apparently it wasn't. Okay, so fire tests are looking good. On this side everything's good. Moving down to the main panel then comes our QNH 989er. We've seen higher QNHs before, but we've also seen lower. I gotta be honest, admit that. Alright, so down here everything's done. Weather radar is gonna be set to 5 degrees up. Weather threats and hazard are on. Multi-scan is on. Gain is calibrated. That's all looking good. The middle is set. The right side is set. Well, then let's go ahead and go straight into our FMS. So I will be using a WinWing MCDU in order to make my inputs. You guys know that already. And then we'll also bring up the flight plan over here so that you guys are able to follow along nicely. Okay, so starting with the data page and aircraft status, we got an A320-200, CFM56, nav database up to date, scratchpad messages all checked and cleared. Now, init requests. Let's uplink the flight plan, also open our PDF down here already, and here we go. Frankfurt to Düsseldorf, alternate Maastricht. Then let's see, we are the Lufthansa 88, cost index is 20, flight level 220. So, departing from Frankfurt, our departure is going to be off runway 25 center with the Maroon 3 Whiskey departure, insert, and the arrival into Düsseldorf will be an ILS 23 left with the Domux 23 transition. Alright, and insert. Now let's go for data, next page, pilot waypoint. Frankfurt emergency 5, and that's based on Frankfurt 25 center /246 and 25 miles. Alright, storing that. Now, secondary copy active. We got the Frankfurt emergency 5 waypoint that we can drop into here. Holding at 246 inbound right-hand turns, looks good. And immediate return back to Frankfurt. The ILS on runway 25 center is inoperative for the time being, so we're going to plan the ILS runway 25 left. And then we can head straight onto the fix info page and insert our departure over there as well. Oh, I was wrong. I was missing a 6. Alright, and the emergency waypoint as well. Good. So let's continue on the init page. So 59.3 is the zero fuel weight, 25 the CG, 5.6 tons of block fuel, and then we can go right down to the fuel figures. Contingency 0.3, alternate 0.8, and final 1.1. Alright, performance in it. We had a flaps 2 takeoff, and that was with 66 degrees flex temperature. Now let's see about the speeds. 34, 48, 51. So 134, 148, and 151. Like that. So, reduction in acceleration, engine out acceleration are good. Next phase, that's all good. And Frankfurt 25 center. Onto the progress page, that's good as well. And that's our initial FMS setup completed. So let's go right back into the ATSU and do the ATIS request. We're looking for Frankfurt. And we're looking for a departure ATIS from VATSIM, send that. Now let's go through the received messages here. Load sheet number 1 can be disregarded. Load sheet number 2 is the important one. That's Frankfurt or Düsseldorf on the uniform Oscar, which is our aircraft. That looks good. Alright, 2 pilots, 4 cabin crew on the 23rd of October. 0 fuel 59.3. Let's see. Underloaded by 1.7 tons. 160 passengers, and they already know about our fuel. That's good, we can accept this. Now let's go for the ATIS. We've got Frankfurt departure information Mike 22023 goes 33. Well, we're pretty much familiar with that, so easy going. Alright then, information Mike, let's go ahead and request our IFR clearance. So ATC request, pre-departure clearance. ATIS Mike, our gate is Victor 122, which is where the real aircraft stood today. And the station will be Frankfurt. Alright, optional text. We'll just say Gute. So, Frankfurt to Düsseldorf, Lufthansa 88, Victor 122, ATIS Mike, Gute 320, station Frankfurt. Looks good. Send. So, with that, the PDC request is out and on the way. In the meantime, we can go back to the flight plan and cross-check our SIDs. So let's bring this up over here. Maroon 3 Whiskey, straight at Delta Fox 999, above 800, max 200. And that's indeed what we got. Then we continue via Delta Fox chart. What is that? 998 above 1690. And in here that's unreadable, that's 998. Okay, above 1690 and 200 knots, that is good. Let's actually go ahead and zoom in a bit. Okay, request being processed, stand by. And second, interesting, says message 1 out of 2. Alright, here's our clearance. That's looking good. I'm just gonna press Wilco over here and send. So let's quickly confirm the rest of the SID, and then we move into checking it. Into checking the clearance. So we continue Delta Fox 996 above 2670, and that's what we got. Again, 200 knots. Then we continue via 995, that's above 3470, maximum 230, that looks good. Then we continue via 994 above 5600, maximum 230, and then 992 above 6000, and we got them both. Then Lixu Tabum Lixi Lorpa Maroon, Lixu Tabum Lixi Lorpa Maroon. Looks good. Alright, so now let's go ahead and confirm our IFR clearance. So that's PDC number 2, Lufthansa 88, cleared to Düsseldorf via runway 25 center, Maroon 3 Whiskey, confirmed, Squawk 1000. Got too many messages here, thanks. Alright, so actual departure time due to mean departure interval, aka no slot. Next frequency 121.855. And that's looking good, we can close this. Then clearance confirmed, we can close this. And we can close this. Good. So 121.855 is the next one. Can already switch that active, but I am gonna turn it off for the time being. Okay, so IRS alignment is also complete, then all our FMS is inserted and checked. Let's go right up to the FCU, QNH 9er, 8, 9er, like that. Initial climb clearance is going to be per the SID, so let's go ahead and find that PT. And that is RMP SIDS runway 07. God, how difficult can you make it to find that? I think that one. So, Zobra to uniform, no. Let's find the other ones. Actually, why am I looking at runway 07? It's runway 25. That could have been easier. RMP sits 25 left center. That's it. So, let's find the correct one. Come on. The 1-3 whiskey, here it is. Climb flight level 70. And that's set. Alright, great. So, that's everything completely set up now. Refueling is also complete, so let's turn on the fasten seatbelt sign and the fuel pumps up there. And then we've pretty much got everything covered. Now, looks like boarding is still in progress, is it? No, aircraft loaded. Wonderful. Man, things are going quick today. We're good. Okay, cool. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and start the departure briefing. And that's gonna be for you, please. So we are departing from Frankfurt's runway 25 center, Maroon 3 Whiskey departure, initial climb level 70, MSA 4300, extra fuel and time. It's actually going to be quite a bit. We are looking at 1.8 tons, 53 minutes. No hotspots for our taxi out, and stop margin for an RTO is 1,400 meters. We're going straight at 25 miles in case the weather allows it, in case of an engine failure, climbing 5,000. If they keep us in 4 as long as we stay to the south, that's fine with me as well. If we need to make an immediate return, runway 25 left is programmed since 25 center has got the ILS inoperative. And, well, weather dependent, we'll have to make a decision here, so I'm really not going to force anything. Apart from that, in terms of specials, I've got nothing, non-standards, nothing. Threats for the departure, most definitely the weather, so let's quickly talk about the wind shear escape. First of all, in case we get a predictive or a reactive wind shear before V1, we are going to stop the takeoff. In case of a wind shear after V1, we continue. Thrust levers toga, pitch 15, thereafter follow the flight directors. When we get out of the wind shear, and only then, we can change our configuration, which is going to be a landing gear up and then flaps as needed. Make sure that we don't overspeed the flaps, and, well, altitude-wise, we shouldn't have much of a problem. I don't care about the speed restriction in case of wind shear. I'm just going to fly it as the flight director commands it. Last but not least, if we see large changes in airspeed during the takeoff run, then we can consider that a wind shear as well. So if it becomes excessive, we can consider rejecting the takeoff over here. With a stop margin of 1,400 meters, we shouldn't have too much of a problem, but that's definitely something that I want to keep in my mind. Apart from that, miscellaneous items, we've got our flaps 1 speed of 191, and then the clean speed is 215. That means we got to keep the flaps in 1 until Delta Fox 996 over there. So we'll just have that in our mind. That's really it. Any questions? No? Beautiful. That's our briefing complete. Let me do a company message down there, which is probably going to be the final load sheet. And let's see, pre-departure clearance, that's already done, and load sheet, here it is indeed. Okay, so zero fuel weight is 59.2, so we're 100 lighter, and the CG is 32.9. Alright, that's in here. Takeoff weight 64.6, which, let's see, matches the FMS, 160 plus 1, that's fine, except the load sheet. So 64.6 is fine, 31.2 was within the limit, I think. Yep, so the trim is going to be down 0.6. Like that. Alright, then we're going to keep the takeoff data. The load sheet is done. In the meantime, the APU should come up momentarily. Then let's say hello to our passengers. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Abend aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist der Manuel. Im Namen der Lufthansa darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unseres Airbus A320 auf unserem kurzen Flug nach Düsseldorf willkommen heißen. Ja, es wird heute leider etwas turbulent sein. Das lässt sich bei dem Wetter leider nicht vermeiden. Dennoch erwarten wir einen pünktlichen Abflug und eine pünktliche Ankunft an unserem Zielflughafen. Wir melden uns dann mit dem neuesten Wetter nochmal im Anflug und bis dahin wünschen wir Ihnen jetzt einen schönen Aufenthalt bei uns an Bord. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, machen Sie es sich gemütlich und dann melden wir uns im Anflug bei Ihnen. Wir erwarten jetzt auch die Anlassfreigabe in den nächsten Minuten, sodass es in Kürze losgehen sollte. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of Lufthansa. Welcome aboard our Airbus A320 on our scheduled flight to Düsseldorf. Today's flight time will be approximately 30 minutes, expecting, well, a little bit of a turbulent flight, as you can already see the weather outside. We're now expecting to get our clearance to pushback within a matter of the next couple of minutes, so for the time being, just sit back, relax, make yourself comfortable, and if we can do anything for you to make your flight more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard. Okay, so APU is on, then let's make sure that all the ground equipment is getting removed. So, chocks, GPU, all of you can go. We should be fully ready to go. So let's get that chart out. Ground chart, that's the one. Parking right up here, should be an easy taxi. Alright, cool. And that's everything I got over here. So cockpit preparation checklist, please. So that's gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity is 5,600 kilos balanced. Seatbelts on. ADRs, nav and barrel ref QNH 989er. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright then, let's call for our clearance. Frankfurt Airport, hello, Lufthansa 88, request pushback and startup.
Lufthansa 88, apron, hello, once clear of the inbound crossing 321, right to left, pushback and startup is approved, facing west, correction facing east, November blue.
When clear of the inbound Airbus A320 from the right, pushback approved onto the east, facing east onto November blue, Lufthansa 88.
Lufthansa 88, confirm face, disregard.
Okay, so he wants us to the east, that's fine, on to November blue. B4-star checklist, please.
Lufthansa 8 Lima November, roger, taxi via November
So,
7,
parking brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust, V1 134, VR 148, V2 151, flex 66, windows,
taxi November 7
closed, beacon on, B4-star checklist complete. Alright, so he said when clear of the inbound A320 from the right. So, November blue facing east. That's that one. Okay. I don't see any such A320. Nope. We'll just quickly ask him then. I have a feeling it's that guy and he might have turned into a wrong gate.
Also übrigens 1250, roger, then join November 8, hold short of November.
And sorry, my bad, can I reset gate Alpha 38?
Roger, you can expect Alpha 38.
Lufthansa 88, just confirm we don't see any A320. Can we push now?
Yeah, you pushed into the wrong gate, you can push out.
Roger, pushing, Lufthansa 88. Okay. Boden vom Cockpit, Pushback ist genehmigt, die Parkbremse ist gelöst, Facing East, November Blue.
Tango Taxi November 5, hold short of Lima.
Right, so start the pushback, and then we are ready for your signal to start the engines.
Frankfurt ground, Condor 3 Lima Mike at gate Alpha 26.
Okay, so quite a bit of weather over here. That's hopefully gonna make it interesting.
Lufthansa 3 Uniform Papa, continue via November, correction, continue via Lima, November 6, hold short of November.
So, Boden vom Cockpit, dann starten wir die 1, dann 2 in der Sequenz. Engine 1 start. And yes, we are talking to the ground staff in German. Oh god, there is no British Airways 2005. That hurts. Okay. So, engine number 1 start is progressing nicely. Okay, so. Wir haben einen guten Start auf der 1, wir starten die 2. Engine 2 start. Just fun when you have to use so many languages. Okay, so that looks like the pushback is completed. So, Pushback beendet, die Bremse bitte setzen.
1878,
Bremse ist gesetzt.
Hello, Condor 3 Uniform Zulu and hold short Lima.
Okay, so that is looking pretty good down here.
Condor 3 Lima Mike at gate Alpha 26, information November requesting IFR clearance destination München.
So, Boden, wir haben 2 gute Starts, den Flieger zum Rollen vorbereiten, Freizeichen rechts und einen schönen Tag noch. Tschüss.
Session calling, no flight.
Okay, so 0.6 down like that.
0.250 stand Alpha 38 taxi via November 7.
Okay, so we've got a tuck, we've got a tow bar that's scratching across the ground, and then there should be a ramp agent somewhere here any moment. There he is, holding a pin. Good, after start checklist. Anti-ice, what's the temperature? 11, so off. Here comes status, checked, pitch trim, 31% set, rudder trim neutral, after start checklist complete. Flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral.
From right to left, taxi via November.
Okay, beautiful.
Via Lima, November 5.
So, taxi whenever ready. That guy's not answering. Lufthansa 88, request taxi.
Lufthansa 88, runway 2 center, taxi via November 1, hold short of Lima.
November 1, short Lima, Lufthansa 88. Okay, excellent. Straight ahead, right turn, hold short Lima.
British Airbus 2005 apron.
Parking brake is off. Let's go.
2005 requesting taxi.
Yeah, British Airways 2005,
Okay,
taxi via November
check.
5.
Russia 0.
Taxi via November 5, November holding short of runway 18.
And Lufthansa 3 Uniform Papa, taxi stands Bravo 20 via November.
Alright, so straight ahead
November
and
5.
then a right turn out. Easy going. Now you can see that I did the flight control check before we actually started to taxi because I really... Ouch. Ouch.
Session calling unreadable.
Okay,
And
You
Lufthansa
can-
88, contact tower 118, 78, roger.
11878, Lufthansa 88, sure.
Lufthansa 9 Charlie Tango, contact tower.
Okay, so flight controls are checked, then let's already call tower.
Line up runway 18.
Frankfurt Tower low, Lufthansa 88, not ready yet.
Lufthansa 88, Frankfurt Tower, hello, Roger, join Lima 1.
Join Lima 1, Lufthansa 88. Alright, so we simply continue straight ahead. That's easy going. So, no changes to the briefing, huh? The weather definitely remains a threat. We are going to line up on the runway and check the weather radar before we do anything else. And then we are just waiting for the cabin. Okay, so tell you what, let's already do the taxi checklist here. Flight controls checked, flap setting, conf 2, radar and predictive wind shear on and auto. Engine start selector, tell you what, let's actually use ignition. I think on this one it's warranted with that weather. So, engine start selector, ignition, and standing by for the ECAM. So, he's set to join Lima 1, which is over here. Now let's hope that our cabin gets ready soon enough, that the other guy is not gonna go before us, but he's actually already in there, so I suppose he will.
218, wind 210 degrees, 19 knots, runway 18, clear for takeoff.
Okay, so we're just waiting for the cabin to get ready, which is absolutely expected on, you know, a very short taxi like the one that we are doing over here.
Charlie Tango, line up runway 25 center, 1 departure out of Lima 6 ahead.
Okay, so he's lining up on the center, one from Lima 6 ahead, so which is on the runway already, so we're probably number 3 then. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. They're very efficient here. And ATC should never tell a pilot to expedite vacating, because there is always a reason if they are slow vacating the runway. And if you rush the pilot, that's just gonna go wrong.
Vacating with 210 degrees, 19 knots, 25 left, clear to land.
Lemon 620, covered, great land, runway 25 left.
Okay, so let's see.
Lufthansa 36 Mike.
This might look interesting. Look at the windsock over here. Quite the crosswind. Now they are departing one aircraft from Lima 6 with the other one behind. They need a couple hundred meters between the different aircraft, which is absolutely realistic and can be done in the real world as well. When you're standing here in the full length departure out of Lima 6, that's totally fine. Alright, so ECAM memo, takeoff no blue, complete. Lufthansa 88, ready for departure.
Lufthansa 88, Roger. Open 7 Romeo, cross runway 5 center, taxi by November 3, hold short of November.
Ocean 7 Nana, Romeo, cross 25 center, Mike 8 on the other side, again.
Okay, so
on the other side, November 3 and hold short of November.
That guy is crossing
November 3, short of November.
Into November 3, which is down there, and then short of November,
Romeo.
which is the second taxiway. That's exactly how they do this in Frankfurt.
Identified, contact Langen, 136.130, bye-bye.
So,
Delmon 620, runway is vacated.
3613 is the southern frequency, we're probably gonna get the northern frequency.
Correction 136.130.
Let's see which one that's gonna be. 120155. Might as well pre-select
runway is
that.
vacated.
620, Roger, taxi left, Mike, Yankee 1, hold short of Yankee 10.
Alright, great. He's crossed, so he's gonna get takeoff clearance next, and then we'll probably get our lineup clearance already.
620 on hard short, that was just.
That would be German efficiency.
620, hold short of Yankee 10.
Yankee 10, Roger.
Ocean 7 Romeo, contact apron on 121.855, bye-bye.
Takeoff.
Apron 121.855, Ocean 7 Romeo, bye-bye.
So that's probably the ocean.
80 November identified, contact Langen 120.155, bye-bye.
120.155, Lufthansa, 80 November.
So, when is he gonna get takeoff clearance?
Lufthansa Tango, wind 210 degrees, 1 and out.
Now.
Runway 25 center, clear for takeoff.
Wait for takeoff, Lufthansa, einschalten.
So, the rain has stopped.
88 after departing, A320, line up 25 center behind.
Going departing 320, line up 25 center behind, Lufthansa 88. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. I'm gonna leave the engine start selector on ignition anyway. It's not gonna cost us anything. Lineup checklist. Takeoff runway 25 center Lima 1, TCAS, Tara, PEX 1 and 2, off. Lineup checklist complete. So, preceding is airborne. Look at that speed indicator. Already suffering from the winds. Yep, that is going to be an interesting one. So, let's do full lineup here. Oh god, departure is just closed. There was a lovely full ATC service online when I started this, and this is exactly the reason why I'm using AI ATC a lot. Because VATSIM just isn't reliable to stay online.
Our Gude, British Airways 2005, currently taxiing via November.
No 2005. Not British Airways.
British Airways
Speedbird.
2005, Tower, hello, line up runway 18.
Line up runway 18, British Airways 2005.
Runway 88, wind 210 degrees, 100 knots, runway 25 center, clear for takeoff.
Runway 25 center, clear takeoff, Lufthansa 88. Okay, ready? Takeoff. So, very strong crosswind, that means we go full stick forward.
Ready when reaching. Address 650 Tower, roger.
Man flag 66, SRS, runway auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Here we go. $100 knots, checked. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. And pedals neutral. Here we go. Airborne. A little bit of gusts here. Trip. Oh god, I hate Honeycomb. Trip. Okay, so thrust climb, climb auto thrust, flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. Okay, so weather is basically okay everywhere over here. That is a good thing already. Packs are both on. With weather like this, autopilot 1. Let's not screw with this. I think we need like 6,000 feet in order to be able to start the right-hand turns there. But that bit of yellow is something that I do not really appreciate, so let's just maintain the present heading here. 215. Because I don't want to get too close to that. Okay, flaps 0. Speed checked, flaps 0. So, temperature out there is 10, engine anti-ice on. And engine anti-ice is on. So, the other guy up there is climbing so fast, we can easily take a shortcut to the right whenever we need to. For the time being, let's just continue straight for a little bit though. Is that standard? Standard cross-check, passing flight level 60 now. Checked. Okay, perfect. Then we're high enough that noise abatement is no longer relevant here, so let's go direct to Maroon. Like that. Nav. Alrighty, engine anti-ice off. And start selector on. So guys, there you have it. We have finally had to use the engine start selector in a different position than norm for a takeoff. I think this was a first for the channel, wasn't it? Okay, so this gentleman down here probably not going to be too much of an issue. For the time being, we're flying inbound Maroon. Probably going to get something nicer very soon. Then let's continue the climb to flight level 220. Like that. Flight level 220 is blue. And we're going through level 100. Speed target should increase. Well, lights off. Sign's gonna remain on for the flight, but let's call the cabin crew real quick. Hi, Manuel here from the flight deck. You're released for service, but just beware, it could certainly stay a little bit turbulent throughout the entire flight, so no hot drinks please, just cold drinks. Thanks. Okay, that's done. That way they can at least, you know, give out a little bit of water and stuff like that. So, that track is gonna be turbulent, but should be alright. Okay, so, seatbelts remain on, and then clear and copy, please. So, that's gone, that's checked. Secondary is copied. And cruising 220, optimum 360, well, this should not be 360, this should be dynamically adjusted based on our trip length. For some reason, the Fenix doesn't do that, so yeah, that's all we got for the time being. So, let's go ahead and find our arrival weather. ATSU, AOC menu, ATIS, EDDL, arrival and send. What's the weather doing? Looking alright. We're inside the clouds again. Engine anti-ice on. So, Düsseldorf, ATIS Echo. Let's see, runway news 23 left. Wind 250 23, gust 38. Temperature 12, QNH 0986. And that's pre-selected. Lovely. Okay, so let's go direct RPEC to make that route a little bit straighter. Like that. Doesn't really matter with the clouds ahead of us. Any of that is going to be turbulent, so ain't really going to matter. However, it would be very nice if we had the chance to use the weather radar to scan at proper flight levels, because this is mostly ground level here. That's not going to make much of a difference for us, so it's pretty much irrelevant. And there we are again with the topic of the useless Asobo weather radar. But yeah, we've talked about it now. Alright, so engine anti-ice off. And the engine anti-ice is off. Okay, so let's slightly change the FMS down here. I want Domux in flight level 100. Insert, and then I tell you what, we can just proceed direct to Domux as well. Insert. Puts the top of descent in about 35 miles. Well, easy going. Alright, cool. So with all that good stuff done, let's have a look at the arrival charts. Yep, things are going that quick. So we do need the aerodrome parking chart, please. And then we got the instrument approaches, ILS runway 23 left is pinned, and the RNAV transitions runway 23 left right as well. As standard charts over here. So that's looking quite good. Coming in from Domux onto the downwind. So let's quickly have a look at that. So Domux, downwind via 405, maximum 220, and we got that, then 406, 220, and downwind. Yep, that looks pretty much accurate. And we've got a contact 124.73.
Level 150.
Six at 1 Alpha arrival and descend flight level 150.
Vertical speed. Long radar, Moin, Lufthansa 88, level 210, climbing 220, inbound Domux.
Lufthansa 88, langen radar, hello, identified.
So, 1000 to go.
Magnator even, someone else.
Okay, great. So that's pretty much all that standard stuff done over here. Then let's fill out the FMS. We've checked that. Let's next check our ILS itself. Then here it is, ILS approach runway 23 left. Starting at Metmine 3000, 3-degree glide. And we got Metmine 3000, 3-degree glide. Missed approach straight at 2.6 Düsseldorf, max 220, right turn 307 until radial 277.
Lufthansa 8 Lima November, now we good, we can climb.
Okay, so that's correct, all start. And then it's a right hand turn back to Düsseldorf, climbing 4000. And in here we got Düsseldorf at 4000. Good, so right nav page, we can take Düsseldorf and Mike Hotel Victor. With the 277 course. Destination runway is already in here, then let's insert some weather. So 281 for the descent looks about good. I don't want to fly much faster, because any faster is also going to mean that the turbulence is going to be stronger. So let's see, Aegis 250 at 23. Like that. Temperature 12 and QNH 986. Alright, the minimum is 340. We're definitely gonna do config full. And then what's our NSA? 2900, 2400 in the missed approach sector. So let's use 2400. Alright, so extra fuel an hour and 11, and the secondary will be copy of the active with a slight change for runway 23 right, like that. And then performance minimum 360, like that. Alright, great, so all that good stuff is in there. Auto brakes low. And that's it. Cool. So we're about ready to start our descent. 9 nautical miles is fine with me. Let's start the approach briefing. So we'll be flying a radar vectored, well, self-vectored ILS approach runway 23 left, MSA 2.9, and the minimum is 340. In case of go around straight at 2.6, right hand turn until radial 277 from Mönchengladbach, and then right back to Düsseldorf, climbing 4000. Extra fuel and time, an hour and 11. So before we start the second half, let's request descent. Lufthansa 88, request descent.
Lufthansa 88, you're leaving my airspace, no further control available, approved to leave. True landing.
True. And back to Honeycomb, because why wouldn't we? So let's go down to flight level 100. T-cars can go into below as well. Wonderful. So, descent alt, flight level 100 blue. Seatbelts are on, and let's see what our arrival time is. They say 33 down here, probably going to be a bit earlier, so yeah, we might be able to do 30, so let's set, actually we might be able to do 25. Let's set a time marker at 1610, just as a reminder that we need to cycle the seatbelts. So time marker is in here, that looks good. Thrust idle. Okay, so for my part of the approach briefing, we are going to fly a flight director guided ILS approach runway 23 left, flaps full, auto brakes low, maximum reverse, vacate the runway to the left hand side, and the way it looks right now, that's only when we'll have to call the next air traffic controller. Well, taxi should be straightforward. Special on non-standards, I've got nothing. Threats for the arrival, definitely the weather again. We don't need to brief the wind shear escape maneuver again, if that's fine with you. In terms of the approach itself, 1,000 foot stabilized approach gate absolutely applies, and I've got nothing special over there. Remember, the stabilized approach gate is based on ground speed mini, so as long as our speed is within 10 knots of ground speed mini, or plus 10 minus 5 to be a little bit more exact, that's going to be fine for us. And that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions? No? Alright, approach briefing completed. Then let's quickly talk to our passengers as well. Liebe Gäste, aus dem Cockpit noch einmal Ihr Kapitän. Wir haben bereits unseren Sinkflug in Richtung Düsseldorf gestartet. Das Wetter ist jetzt aktuell ein bisschen windig, wie es auch in Frankfurt gewesen ist. Die Temperatur um die 12 Grad. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie Lufthansa auf Ihren Flug gewählt haben, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und freuen uns, bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge begrüßen zu dürfen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We have initiated our descent towards Düsseldorf with a remaining flight time of 15 minutes. The weather in Düsseldorf at the moment, very similar to Frankfurt, a little bit windy, temperatures 12 degrees. Thank you very much for choosing Lufthansa today. We hope you enjoyed your flight as much as we did and look forward to welcome you again on board of a future service. Thank you very much for your attention, and we now wish you a good evening and a nice and safe continuous journey. So, while we do have a little bit of time, look at that lovely sunset. Let's see that from the outside as well. Look at this. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And the same into the other direction. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. And with that, let's do what we do in the real world. When the sun is that low, lock it outside the flight deck. Okay, so I have a feeling it's gonna get gusty soon. Engine anti-ice on. Let's cycle the bells now. Okay, so there's quite a bit of weather over here. Let's turn left heading 290 to avoid that. Thrust dial open, descent heading. And look at that. That was a clear case of the Asobo radar lying to us again, because the weather over here would have been good. See? That's what happens when you trust the Asobo weather radar. I suppose in these kind of weather conditions, there ain't going to be much preventing us flying like anywhere here anyway. Just gotta have a good look outside, because right now we're crossing the airspace of Cologne-Bonn, and well, obviously we do not want to cause any conflicts there. There is some ATC online over there, but if we should enter their airspace, they are going to give us a call, so I suppose that is that. So, this definitely does look turbulent, just like the entire rest of the weather over here, so there isn't much sense avoiding it. We'll just have to fly straight through it. Not much we can do. I mean, we've tried. We've definitely tried. To be completely honest, looking outside the window, it actually looks worse over there than it would have over there. But, yeah. It's okay. Now, you're gonna get the train, because apparently you don't get weather returns anyway, even though I don't know why that is. So train on this side as we're approaching over the Sauerland. And yeah, look at that. Now this one comes up in amber as well. Not much we can do about it at this distance. We'll just have to fly through it. Alright then, let's descend. 3000 and set QNH. QNH 986 cross-check, passing 11,400. Now. Checked. Alright, I don't see us going back to the arrival anytime, so extend the center line, please. It's gonna be from Metma, radial in 050. Like that, looks good. Insert. Full heading. Heading. Okay, so the way this looks, we'll actually need to expedite our descent a little bit. On the other hand side, that gets us right into the weather, so I'm kind of inclined to just stay on a standard descent path here. Well, look at that, with every single sweep, the amber is actually moving into that direction, so yeah, in that case there's not much that's going to get us around this, so let's just get the speed brake out. And we are reaching and passing 10,000. Lights, signs, ethers. GPS primary, high accuracy checked, and mode select on norm is okay for the time being. We'll have to consider if we need it on the approach again, but for the time being I'm just going to keep it that way. Alright, and then let's do the approach checklist, please. And we no longer need those as we're inside the clouds now. So, bow ref, QNH 986, checked on both sides. Seatbelts on minimum, baro 340. Then auto brake is low, engine start select on norm, approach check is complete for the time being. Okay, so that descent rate actually looks okay. The amber is just extending outwards, so not much we can do about it. But let's use that little gap down there to fly 10 degrees to the right so that we can set up a nice little final and intercept over here. That should hopefully help us. Ooh, it starts getting weathery. So let's see, we're in 8,000, that means we need 24 miles plus the 5 from our speed, minus 5 from the headwind, so 24 miles, and we do have 15. Well, that's not correct. I just need to look up here to see that we have more than 15 miles. So I would say that's about 12 plus the final, so around about 24 miles. Passing 7,000 now, should be fine. I'm gonna use the speed brake until we're in 6,000 and then I'm going to retract them. That should be sufficient. Okay, and here we go, approaching 6,000. Speed brake's coming in. We need to lose another 3 and then start the deceleration. We got like 12 miles here. With that headwind, that should be absolutely fine. Very easy going indeed. Alright, cool. So we can just keep it on managed speed over here. Descending nicely. Look at that, we can actually see the ground for a bit. Didn't expect that on today's flight. Okay. So, flying ourselves nicely down into the glide slope over here. The headwind, of course, helps tremendously. Düsseldorf traffic, Lufthansa 88, 10 miles from Metma for an ILS approach, runway 23 left. Look at that, we're actually descending so rapidly. Okay, so I think ground is online on 121.605. Let's already pre-select him so that we got him ready when we need him. Looks like the approach is currently straight between those two cells. That could be good. 1,000 to go. Speed, vertical speed. Okay, let's turn those 10 degrees left again. We'll check the missed approach once we're on final. For now, I want to see the close view over here. But that actually still looks quite good. So this way we're going to have like 2 miles per hour metma for the intercept of the approach. That looks pretty good. Speed is coming down nicely. I mean, look at this. We're already doing 215 knots over the ground, so that's actually very easy. We can actually start reducing our indicator like pretty late, which we are going to do. I'll stop. That's one of the nice things about flying weather like this. You really get to do things that you wouldn't do like all the time normally. We still need anti-ice? No, 14 degrees. Engine anti-ice off. Halt. Okay then, left heading 260, cleared ILS approach, runway 23 left. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1-2, lock star, glide slope blue. So, 3 miles from Metmar. I'm afraid we gotta start reducing, so activate approach phase. And confirmed. And here we go. Localizer alive. And then let's do the rest ourselves. Cat 1. And here we go, everything's manual. Lock. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Station, you're transmitting on guards.
Glide slope star. Or on altitude 4000 set. So with that headwind, we are absolutely easy going on our speed. We can just maintain the airspeed down to 2000 to fly standard Airbus SOP approach. So let's see how windy that's actually going to be on final. Let's just quickly get the latest weather update here. Düsseldorf, update 250 at 19, tempo 250 at 20, gusting 35. Okay, and that means 250 at 19 goes into the box. Düsseldorf traffic, Lufthansa 88, 6 miles final, 23 left. Flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2.
Traffic at 56 Alpha, short, should say left for the famous 1830 driver.
So if you're ready to go, then you're welcome to go first. We still have 5 miles.
Traffic marking, okay, then 56 Alpha,
Okay, gear down.
Traffic on the 179 Alpha overhead, big road 4, big road 3, runway 3 left.
Alright, and flaps 3. Speed checked, flaps 3. And flaps full. Speed checked, flaps full. So it looks like we'll still have... Alright, so wipers on. And the moment I turn the wipers on, the rain actually stops. Okay, fair enough. Wipers off. Looks like there's still a little bit of rain left. In any case, landing checklist. Econ memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. So, going through the 1000 foot gate right now, and that is stabilized. See, the KLM is airborne already, and we're just on a 2.5 mile final. Thank you very much. Lufthansa 88, 2 miles final, 23 left.
Thank you for the move you make.
You're most welcome. You're in this one as well. Okay, so... Man, that's quite the speed change. Is that gonna come back, or do we have to... No, it's coming back. That's fine.
400.
Ooh, land. Oh yeah, that's weather.
300. Speed.
So wind is dying off, speed is okay now.
Minimum 200.
But this is borderline wind shear. Not much missing.
100.
Düsseldorf traffic, Condor 3655, turning final, IS approach, runway 23
20. Retard.
So don't flare too much here, just slam it down.
Drive.
Alright. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. So that was quite the gust on final. But it came down pretty quickly. For that reason we could continue. But that was definitely borderline wind shear there. If that had stayed for a couple seconds longer, I would definitely have called a go-around. But like this, it should be fine, I'd say. Alright, so, of course, ground went offline in the meantime, so we'll just taxi to the gate on our own. Düsseldorf, Lufthansa 88, vacating 23 left, taxiing to Alpha 12. Alright, and here we are. So, hope that one was fun for you. I most definitely had a blast doing this. That's the kind of weather that's really fun to fly, isn't it? And that was, by the way, turbulence setting realistic. And yeah, in weather like this, that can absolutely happen. Alright. So, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear is off. After landing checklist complete.
Düsseldorf traffic, Condor 3655, Alice approach runway 23 left.
Very, very nice. That's how I appreciate doing this. That's the fun of flying in this type of weather. So, Alpha 12. No follow me needed. Handling by Acciona, because why not? I could say delay is basically expected with any of those. So, yeah. Okay, so we're looking for Alpha 12, which is the second gate over there. So that should be easy. I'm not gonna do a single engine taxi with weather like this. We could potentially do it, but we are rather heavy due to the extra fuel we took. And we still have 4.1 tons over here. Oh, that's coming off, and APU is coming on. Alright, Alpha 12 it is. The guidance system is still off. Let's hope that that's going to come on anytime soon. It better does. I have to go slow here if the guidance isn't coming on. Technically speaking, we're not allowed to park unless the guidance is there. Which is interesting. We did select our parking in GSX, so I got no idea why the system isn't working. Alright, doesn't matter, we'll just park somewhere over here. Should be far enough forward that we're not blocking anyone on the tail, and that the jetway can connect over here. Alright, so shutting down number 2, then we're just waiting for the APU to come online to start, or to shut down number 1 as well. Ultimately, I'm not going to do a Ryanair procedure here and just do it without the APU. We could potentially do that, but I don't think Lufthansa does in their practical operation. So here it is, APU avail, shutting down 1. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay. So, both engines are now running down. Here we go. Parking brake set for the time being, and number 1 is coming down. Great. Beacon off. Come on, disarm the slides over here. Here we go. The other 2 as well, please. Here we go. Okay, so external power is there, then we can shut the APU down straight away and do the parking checklist. Parking brake or trucks? Well, trucks are in position, so parking brake released. Engines off, wing light off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist complete. Well, and that, my friends, is it. Welcome to Düsseldorf in Storm Benjamin. Hope you guys had some fun as well. I most definitely had. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath. Let me know what you thought about that approach. And with all of that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.